Hello everyone, this is Gabe with Chattahoochee Valley Libraries, and I am back with another video about Hoopla comics. I am recording live from the Columbus Public Library quarantine room. These bins that you see are where your items get returned if you've done curbside service. And for 4 days, we keep these quarantines to try to keep you safe. However, the comics on Hoopla don't need to be quarantined. You can get them anytime you want. And I'm alone in here, so I'm gonna take this mask off so you can actually see my face. Today we're gonna be talking about the Eisner Awards and some of the comics you can get on Hoopla from that. I just showed you how to get there if you go to that heading up on the right. And the Eisner Awards are kind of like the Oscars for comics. This is the best of the best, a wide variety of really interesting titles that cross multiple genres. And I haven't read these all, but I have read 3 of them, and we're going to talk about them today. So, let's jump in. So our first title today is They Called Us Enemy. This is co-written by George Takei, and this is his life story. Takei is most famous for being Sulu from the original Star Trek, but he's been in many movies since and become a very famous person. Harmony Becker is the illustrator here, and what Takei does is tells his story of growing up in the Japanese internment camps. He was 5 years old when he was taken there. His parents, who in this book are just incredible people, come to realize that they can't tell their kids the whole story. So at first they say, "We're going on an adventure. We're going on a little vacation, kids." And yet the truth becomes deeply apparent, and Takei has to question everything he thought he knew about democracy and about America and about how people are treated simply because of the color of their skin. FDR opened these internment camps during World War II. It was a very difficult time for this country, but it was even more difficult growing up. And these issues with everything going on in the world today, which I don't want to dive too deep into in this video, make it more relevant than ever. Everything about this story feels very alive to today, and Takei's story is absolutely incredible. The sacrifices that his parents made to raise their kids, how he overcame this childhood experience, and how it informed him later when he was on one of the most transformative TV shows of the 60s. Star Trek is science fiction, but it had amazing social effects as well. And this is just a really wonderful book. Once you read it, it's very hard not to be affected by it and to put yourself in those shoes. And it is absolutely Eisner Award worthy. So highly recommend this to anyone. This is one of those books that maybe everybody should read. Up next, we have The Immortal Hulk, which is written by Al Ewing and drawn by Joe Bennett. And I'm a huge Hulk fan, and if you saw me talk about Planet Hulk in one of the previous videos, you may already know that. This is one of the neatest, coolest, most unique takes on Hulk I've ever seen, because this is a horror comic. Hulk is not a superhero here. Hulk is a monster, and this comic really embraces the idea of that monstrosity, which is sort of inherent to the character and something that's always been there on the surface, but danced around because of the superhero genre. This book starts with a quote from Carl Jung, and so if that wants to tell you where we're at here psychologically, man is, on the whole, less good than he imagines himself or wants to be. And this book is about that conflict between man and monster for Hulk. During the day, he's Bruce Banner. People think he's dead. He's trying to lay low and let people keep thinking that so he can try to figure out how to live with this life and with being a monster. But at night, he becomes the Hulk. And the Hulk is a very different sort of guy, not only than Bruce Banner, but than almost any other incarnation of the Hulk that you've seen before. This book is scary. This book has some real horror moments and glimpses of the past character, and still with his moral compass and desire to protect and desire to help others, but unleashed in a whole different way. And it's almost the next logical conclusion to that dichotomy of being both man and monster, of being science and almost magic in a way. And this book is just fantastic. I can't say enough about the art, the vibe, the whole dichotomy of Bruce Banner wrestling with the monster within and embracing it. Next up, we have Bad Weekend by Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips. Bad Weekend was originally part of the comic book Criminal, but has now grown into its own story and been fleshed out into its own graphic novel. It follows an artist by the name of Hal Crane, who you just saw right there, who is an analog for basically every old school comic artist who got shafted along the way and had to watch their creations make billions while they made nothing. And he and his former assistant Jacob embark on a scheme to steal back his old comic book pages. As usual, in every criminal story, nothing is as it seems and everybody's got an ulterior motive. This book doubles as a dark, sort of underground, sordid history of the comic book industry, which is very ironic because this is a thing that has brought a lot of people joy, that kids love, that families love, and yet the people behind it didn't necessarily live that kind of life or share in that joy. Brubaker and Phillips are one of the best teams in comics right now, writer and artist. Sean Phillips' artwork is always amazing, and unlike the creators of the past, these guys own their own work, and they have places like Hoopla at your library to distribute from. But the old comics industry was a very dark place, and this follows one man's journey through that and sort of through his own mistakes and repeating his own mistakes. And is just a great psychological examination of loss and regret sandwiched into a great crime book. Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips, again, two of the best. Just read it. It's fantastic. So that was 3 of the Eisner Award nominees I've read. If you've read any of these books, please let us know in the comments below, because this is an excellent selection of high-quality comics and a great way to discover some new things. I put the mask back on, not just because we at the library are making sure we wear our personal protective equipment and keep safe, but also to remind you that there won't be the typical Eisner Awards ceremony this year, which is usually held at San Diego Comic-Con, which has, of course, been canceled. But they are probably going to do something online. I'm not sure when. I don't think they know when, but stay tuned for the news on that. In the meantime, keep using your library. We're doing curbside service so you can place holds anytime you want. And of course, keep downloading comics on Hoopla, because the world of comics is big and it's amazing and multivaried, and I encourage you to explore it. Thank you and have a great day.
We are springing into summer learning at the Chattahoochee Valley Libraries, and the program you just attended is one of the ways you can earn completions. Just go to cvlga.org and look for Spring into Summer Learning. You can register yourself and your family online, and then start reading and attending our online events. That's all you have to do. We're giving away weekly gift certificates, and every completion you make enters you into a grand prize drawing for tablets, games, gifts, and more. Remember, you have to register to win. cvlga.org, and we'll see you online again real soon.